and BTS incursion into English language songs. Of BTS, Karamanika says, "It's interesting to talk about BTS and the evolution and expansion of BTS and also the second or third phase of BTS. Because, I do think they hit a moment when BTS said, or the people pulling the strings on BTS said, my emphasis in essence, you are an English language group or we are going to make these songs that lead with English presumably to get a tremendous amount of attention and open up a lot of opportunity in America or elsewhere. But is that what makes BTS great when BTS was great?" In the podcast, Kara is speaking as a K-pop expert. My knowledge of K-pop extends to BTS, so I cannot assess her understanding of the history of K-pop and all the other bands she mentions in her comments. However, as a fan of BTS, I can certainly assess her knowledge and understanding of BTS. And it is here where she commits the most flagrant criticism crimes. For example, when she equates BTS with Western boy bands, when only a superficial knowledge of BTS music, lyrics, messages, and history, demonstrates that the comparison is faulty. I guess it was at that point 2017, 2018, where they started morphing into a group aimed more at an American boy band audience rather than a band aimed at the American K-pop audience. And I think the way that they were received in America was as a boy band. I think of it as their One Direction era because they are using some of these same songwriters, it's the Jonas Brothers, it's that era of boy band. At no point in BTS' 10-year career has their music sounded or approximated sounding like One Direction or the Jonas Brothers. I have not seen any serious music criticism of BTS music having made that comparison other than the fact that they are all boy bands. Though I may be wrong, it seems this is an opinion based on a profound bias. Criticism of all kinds needs to be fair. You have to observe the art you are criticizing in the most objective way possible, but even if you have some biases, you need to consider the work in its context, history, and intention. You have to engage with both its ideas and its form. Ideally, you must depart from a knowledgeable position or fill in the gaps of your lack of knowledge with research. If you dislike something, you need to have thought long and hard about why. Neither Karamanika nor Kara seem to have thought in any way about what the problem is with BTS and Jungkook's English language music. What their views reveal is that they can no longer confine K-pop to an exotic niche and continue to be the supposed experts and arbiters of knowledge about it. They also reveal that in their privilege and snobism, they thought they could discuss the topic on the fly and it would pass with audiences. You can see where all this leads. There is no genuine issue with K-pop, BTS, and Jungkook creating music in English. It is a made-up problem stemming from their racist panic that these Korean musicians no longer conform to their fetishizing views. This podcast episode is problematic on so many levels that even dedicating these many words to it doesn't start to address its surface and deeper issues. Still, I try, because we must always call out racism, xenophobia, mediocre and lazy journalism, and lack of diversity in media, especially when it comes from a hugely influential, although increasingly less reliable institution, like the New York Times. Share this. Twitter, Facebook. Related. Hope on the Street, an artist's vital search for his roots. The 19th of April, 2024. In Album Review. J-Hope in the Box, a record of creation. The 24th of February, 2023. In Movies. F***K the algorithm art, curation and influence in late-stage internet. The 1st of May, 2024. In Art. Published by Aid 2709. View all posts by Aid 2709. Post navigation. Previous post. The euphoria of beauty and the compulsion for art. Next post. Monday morning in suburbia, New Year edition. 2 thoughts on racist panic, how BTS and Jungkook's success in English is leaving the Western music industry scrambling. Marie Manides. The 4th of December, 2023 at 5:53 p.m. Thank you for your excellent analysis of the podcast. I listened to it too and immediately felt that I needed to respond on a number of levels. Anyone with a background in sociolinguistics, the arts and / cultural studies, or basic knowledge of BTS, or Jungkook, would recognize that the said podcast misrepresented every possible aspect of music, interviewing or cultural understanding, in a naive and ill-informed way. Being critical is one thing, but the podcast bordered on being ungenerously critical, and contained commentary based in a limited understanding of K-pop, pop, music itself, ignorance of BTS and the kind of music they have been producing for over 10 years. RM has made statements on music genres, and produced cross-genre music, which fly in the face of everything the interviewer and interviewee said or understood about music, music genres and K-pop. For a start, multilingualism and multilingual lyrics have been a feature of BTS music forever, so the critique of Jungkook singing in English as a ploy for reasons given, yes, it was clearly a decision based on specific reach, but presenting as a shallow marketing effort, was astounding and illustrated a profound ignorance of Jungkook's creative pursuits, BTS' previous discography and their contributions to music in general and K-pop in particular. So what if the branding was intentional? America brands its goods globally, as do all countries with international trade links, so what? The interview recognizes the basic approach of capitalism, yet critiques BTS and Jungkook for seeking to adopt basic tenets of marketing, reach, audience, etc. They straight-jacketed K-pop in the most patronizing way, restricting who sings what is opera restricted in the same way. They seem to be wanting to keep the Koreans singing K-pop without taking account of what the singers or the band themselves, or audiences, actually want. My biggest critique of the interviewer and the interviewee would be that the tone and the content was patronizing and ignorant. The interviewer posed as authoritative in a fake way, his comments were culturally insensitive, and when the interviewee said Korea is a very small country, very small, I couldn't help but wonder what relevance that comment had. Japan was not mentioned. It is not such a small country. If you know anything about Asian countries, many citizens, not all, use and aspire to speak English. The interviewer then said K-pop was visually heavy, whatever that means, a comment again presented as deprecatory. That approach is also specific to Asian cultures, and once